Ted Weisberg, Seaport Securities founder and president, on why that might be. What do you think, Ted? I mean, if this was a market panicked about maybe upheaval in Russia, the country with more nuclear weapons than any other country on the planet, they have a funny way of showing it.
Yeah, exactly, Neil. You know, all the unknowns are the worst things for the market. Unknowns equals uncertainty, equals volatility. But clearly, as a result of events, at least in Russia, the markets have pretty much shrugged it off, and it's sort of a ho-hum day so far.
What if it weren't, Ted? What if we get wind that Vladimir Putin, we haven't heard much from him, anything from him, I believe, since all this erupted, and he, beat a fast leg out of Moscow to, I believe, St. Petersburg, but no word from him. What if the government is toppled there? Then you've got to wonder how markets the world over respond, not just ours.
Well, clearly, for the moment, the markets are pretty much shrugging everything off. But, if in fact it evolves into some sort of real dramatic change, something that nobody's anticipated, including the markets, then that's a game changer. And we'll just have to see how and if that plays out. But for the moment, the markets have a funny way of digesting this news rather quickly and reducing it to its lowest possible denominator. Now, perhaps that is a little short-sighted, but clearly for the moment, it's, I don't want to say it's a non-event, because clearly it's a big event, or could develop into a big event. But as far as the markets, sort of, ho-hum.
You know what's interesting, too, and you and I have been through this rigor before, owing to what maybe our wisdom, a.k.a. age, but we have these summer, jolts for the markets, right? I can remember the Russian, ruble devaluation, of course, in the 1990s, and how that whipsawed the markets, the Asian contagion, beginning with the Thailand baht and its currency, and how that whipsawed the markets. Countless invasions, countless acts of civil strife that just seem to pop up in the summer. What is it about this time of year?
Well, you know what? They used to tell us sell in May and go away. May was actually a pretty decent month. June so-so. I think as far as the time of the year, Neil, we are just a couple of days away from the end of the first half, the end of the second quarter. Then it's just a matter of days till we get into earnings season. The analysts and the companies have been pretty good at gaming the earnings. So the end result of that is that the markets usually take on a positive tone during the earnings season. Yeah. And so at least in the very short term, Neil, geopolitical events aside, the focus is going to be the end of the quarter, the end of the first 6 months, and second quarter earnings. And that clearly, short of something dramatic outside of that happening, this is going to be the focus. And of course, we don't know how that's going to play out, but chances are to be better than folks expect.
It generally is when all is said and done, but we'll see. We're putting together a good first half, unless it goes kablooey by Friday. But the fact of the matter is, you got the Nasdaq up almost 30%, the S&P 500 close to 14%, the Dow ahead about just under 2%. Now the pressure to repeat that in the second half or better. What does history tell us, especially when the backdrop for this, you talk about stress, is another bank stress test to see if they're up to absorbing the simulation of another meltdown?
Well, let's not lose sight of the fact, Neil, that yes, the S&P has been put on a very good performance, and the composite even a better performance. But we can place all the blame, if you will, on a handful of very high-profile tech stocks that have more or less driven those averages to the positive performance that we've seen. The vast majority of stocks, in my opinion, are floundering. Yes, you can find positive examples in that group, but for the most part, most folks, unless you happen to own Meta, unless you happen to own Apple, unless you happen to own Tesla, or all three of them, it's been a bit of a struggle for the first 6 months of the year. So it's kind of a tale of two cities, and a lot of folks, have been struggling. But the good news is, Neil, I think with all that, unlike 12 or 13 months ago, for folks that don't know what to do, at least there's a place to go with idle cash, and that has been the short-term Treasury market or even the money market funds, where you can get, where you can get 4, and in the case of short-term Treasuries, more than 5%, basically riskless. So if you don't know what to do, sometimes the best thing to do is simply to do nothing, but at least now, as opposed to 13 or 14 months ago, you're getting paid to do nothing.
Yeah, and a nice amount too, 4 or 5% back by Uncle Sam. Not too shabby to your point. Ted, great seeing.
No.
Go ahead. Great seeing you, my friend, as always. Ted Weisberg on that.